Here the soil was red like dried blood. Trees grew twisted and slanted. Birds and beasts never ventured near. The locals called it Mute Mountain because since ancient times, no one had ever heard wind pass through it. But on the primary dragon vein lay beneath the Qinggu Mountains. Night I arrived. The mountain groaned, not with sound, with ki. The dragon vein was being stretched taut, like a colossal beast chained for too long, on the verge of snapping. I knew then the Earth Dragon Society had begun their grand ritual. Before I could advance deeper, 3 distinct currents of ki closed in simultaneously. The first faction, the Earth Dragon Society, dressed in black, no talismans, no seals, yet every step they took caused the ground to sink. They did not invoke techniques because they themselves were the technique. The second faction, the Orthodox Path, Taoist robes immaculate, peachwood swords, bronze bells. They had come to suppress the chaos, yet hesitation flickered in every gaze. The third faction was me, a man of no sect, no title, no recognition. Yet both sides understood one truth. If I died here, the dragon vein would lose its lock. Ma Chenglin stepped out of the shadows. This time, he no longer pretended to be gentle. Behind him, a formation diagram, shaped like a dragon's skeleton, rose from the ground, each groove carved deep into stone and soil. "Li Air," he said, "you are the final key." "You think I'll open the door for you?" I asked. He smiled. "You don't need to open it. You are the door." At that instant, a sharp pain pierced my heart. A fragment of my soul was forcibly torn from my body. At the mountain's peak, a black stone pillar slowly rose from the earth. Suspended within it was an ancient lamp. Its flame was neither yellow nor red, but ash gray. I recognized it instantly. It was part of my soul, forged into a lamp to awaken the earth dragon. If the lamp went out, the dragon vein would collapse. If the lamp burned out, the earth dragon would fully awaken. There was no safe choice. A young Taoist finally snapped. He raised his peachwood sword and shouted, "The evil dragon must not awaken." The blade struck the stone pillar. Boom! The lamp shook violently. The gray flame flared. The earth split open. "Stop!" I roared. Too late. The Orthodox Path did not understand the earth dragon. They only knew suppression. And there are things that awaken faster the more you suppress them. The entire Qinggu range convulsed. From a lie beneath the mountain, a colossal surge of ki erupted. No form, no head, only ancient will. My soul. The voice rose from the depths, crushing every spirit present. The Taoists collapsed to their knees. The Earth Dragon Society bowed in unison, and I stood upright. If I shattered the lamp, hundreds of miles would become dead land. If I let it burn, the human world would fall into chaos. There was only a third path. I bit down hard on my tongue and spat blood into my palm. With it, I carved a dragon reversal seal across my chest, something my grandfather had never taught me, but something I understood instinctively from the dragon dream at age 8. "You want my soul?" I said to the earth. "Then take all of me." I stepped straight into the lamp pillar. The moment I touched the flame, memory shattered. I saw dragon veins being severed. The earth dragon screaming, the real Li dying, my grandfather sealing fate with his own life. And at last I understood who I truly was. I was never a vessel. I was a living sealing blade. My soul was born to slay dragons. The lamp dissolved into my chest. My soul returned. The earth dragon howled in fury. Ma Chenglin's face drained of color. "Impossible! You can't withstand this. He staggered backward. Great Earth Dragon! It was him who forced. Before he could finish, the ground beneath him collapsed. The Earth Dragon devoured him first, because in its eyes a traitor was unworthy of use. When the dust settled, the dragon veins stabilized. The Earth Dragon did not fully awaken, but it was no longer tightly sealed. The orthodox path retreated. The Earth Dragon Society scattered. Before vanishing, a voice echoed in my mind. "This is not over. You carry my head. I will reclaim it." After that battle, I fell unconscious for 3 days. When I awoke, I knew my soul was complete. I was no longer ordinary. Every step I took now affected dragon veins. I had become a living point of balance. The day Li-Er awakened, there was no thunder, no omen, only something subtle. The wind changed direction. In the north, winds that once flowed with the river reversed. In the south, clouds hung a meter lower than usual. In major cities, sensitive people began suffering insomnia. No one knew that the feng shui of the entire human realm had shifted. Because the wind blade had awakened, 3 days later, the orthodox path received a heavenly decree. Not paper, not dreams, but a direct descent of intent upon the spiritual altar. Anomaly awakened, not of the human realm. Must be suppressed. No name was given, yet everyone understood. Li-Er. From that moment on, Li-Er became a legitimate target of the orthodox path. The 3 great sects convened in secret. Their conclusions were identical. Kill Li-Er, dragon veins destabilize. Spare Li-Er, heavenly backlash. An unsolvable equation. At last, they chose a third option: capture, seal, isolate from the human world. But there was a problem. No one knew how to seal the wind blade. Li-Er left the city, not to flee, but to avoid contact. Whenever he lingered too long in one place, the land adjusted itself around him, causing anomalies. In one town, groundwater suddenly changed course. In one village, landslides occurred without rain. He understood. He himself had become a mobile, natural disaster. A young Taoist pursued him too closely. He did not attack. He merely chanted a stabilizing incantation. In that instant, the heavenly way reacted. The ground beneath him cracked, not collapsing, but snapping the key lines supporting him. He died not because of Li-Er, but because he stood in the wrong place between heaven and earth. When news spread, the orthodox path began to fear. Li-Er stood atop an abandoned building. He gazed down at the city lights. A question echoed in his mind. If I didn't exist, would everything be easier? The heavenly way did not answer. It did not need fairness, only stability. And Li-Er, windblade or not, was still a variable. Cracks formed within the orthodox path. Hardliners suppress Li-Er at all costs. Moderates use Li-Er to mend dragon veins. Shadow faction seize the wind blade. Li-Er stood with none of them, yet all of them wanted him. As the orthodox path fractured, the earth dragon began acting from afar. Dragon veins once wrongly severed by humans began a chain reaction. Not collapsing, not exploding, just shifting half a beat. Enough to cause rising accidents, strange illnesses, unstable human minds. The earth dragon did not attack directly. It waited for the world to unravel itself. That night, Li-Er dreamed, not a dream, a summons. He stood before a formless gate. From beyond it, a voice spoke. "You are the wind blade. You were born to cut." "Then why have you not cut?" Li-Er replied. "Because if I cut correctly, the human world will not survive." Silence. Then the voice said, "Then cut yourself." When he woke, Li-Er understood. The heavenly way wanted him to erase himself, not to be killed, but to self-destruct. If the wind blade vanished, dragon veins would find a new balance. But the price would be the earth dragon remains alive, humanity enters a prolonged age of corruption. Lear stood between two evils. No good choice existed. He returned one last time to see Ye Ting Ting. She did not ask who he was. She only asked, "Will you come back?" Li looked at her for a long time, then shook his head. "I'll leave behind a world you can keep living in." She hugged him. For the first time since awakening, the wind blade hesitated. That night, the sky held no stars, no clouds, no wind. Sensitive people everywhere felt the same thing. Something immense was about to be cut. Deep beneath the earth dragon coiled. It knew. The day its head would be severed had arrived. That day the wind vanished, not stilled, but erased. The air froze, birds stopped mid-flight, clouds halted, pedestrians felt a crushing weight in their chests. Those who sensed qi understood. The wind blade had taken position. Beneath the Qinggu Mountains, the earth parted, not exploding, not collapsing, but opening like an old wound sliced open again. The earth dragon rose, no head, no scales, only a massive body, formed of earth qi, resentment, and buried history. Each segment of its body was an era in which humanity had cut dragon veins. It did not roar, it whispered, "Return my head." Li stepped into the rift. The air around him did not swirl, did not press. It simply returned to proper alignment. He carried no weapon because he himself was the blade. With every step he took, distorted dragon veins straightened. The earth dragon felt it. It retreated half a step. For the first time, an ancient existence avoided something. The sky darkened. No clouds, no moon. An invisible will descended. No command, no favoritism. Only a rule, one strike. No more. No revisions. The wind blade could cut only once. Before the strike, the earth dragon spoke. "I am not evil. I am consequence." It told of humans severing dragon veins for fortune, feng shui abused, wounds accumulating until it was born. "If I die," it asked, "who bears the next cut?" Li was silent for a long time, then answered, "I will." The wind blade raised his hand. No light, no wind, just a moment where everything froze. The strike did not go up, not down, but into concept. He cut accumulated resentment, abused feng shui, humanity's evasion of responsibility. The earth dragon screamed, not in pain, but in release. When the strike ended, the earth dragon disintegrated. Not vanished, returned to ordinary dragon veins. The earth stilled, qi flowed again, but the wind blade cracked. Li collapsed to his knees. Because the wind blade is not allowed to exist after completing its duty, the heavenly way did not erase him, but neither did it preserve him. It asked, "What do you want?" 3 choices appeared. 1. Dissolve, the world remains stable. 2. Ascend, leave the human realm. 3. Remain, be human, but without the wind blade. Li did not answer immediately. He thought of his grandfather, Ye Ting Ting, ordinary people who would never know they'd been saved at last. He said, "I choose to be human." The wind blade dissolved, not destroyed, but stored away. 3 souls and 7 spirits returned to human form. But some memories faded, not erased, no longer needed. Li fell. His pulse was weak, but he lived. The world did not celebrate. There were no holidays, only disasters diminished, dragon veins stabilized, feng shui returned to a tool, not a weapon. The orthodox path never spoke of Li-er. They didn't know what to call him. 1 year later, in a small town, a man opened a shop repairing old items. He did not tell fortunes, did not ward houses, did not speak of fate. Yet strangely, wherever his shop stood, the area was peaceful. His name was Li-er, far away, very deep. A faint metallic sound echoed. Not a blade drawn, but a blade being returned to its sheath. The wind blade is no longer in the human world, but it has never disappeared.